Watchflation is real, and no, I'm not talking about price, but that's real too. The rise of oversized watches can be dated back to the late 90s or early 2000s with brands like Panerai and the Royal Oak Offshore, but Tudor's 2025 releases at Watches and Wonders, the Black Bay 68 and Pelagos Ultra, basically supersized versions of their existing line, prove that the big watch trend is alive and well in 2025. We'll be focusing on watches for the purposes of this channel, but it is interesting to note that the gradual increase in size can be seen elsewhere, like Porsche, for example, with the 911, as well as other places. I think this gradual increase in size can be attributed to two major factors: higher spec and consumer demand. As performance increases, sometimes you simply need extra space. Take waterproofness, for example. On the extreme end of the waterproof spectrum, you have the Rolex Deep Sea Challenge and Omega Ultra Deep Professional, two enormous watches. Of course, these are concept watches. They're not intended for humans to wear, but they have conquered terrestrial waterproofness. There isn't a place on the planet they couldn't dive. And this manifests in a watch that is way more fitting size-wise on the arm of a submersible rather than the arm of a human. Of course, this is true on a smaller scale with consumer models too. Take the Sea Dweller, for example, which doubled its waterproofness from 610 meters to 1220 from the 1665 to the 126600 shown here. The case size scaled from 40 to 43 millimeters. No one on Earth needs that level of waterproofness. The current world record for deepest dive outside of a submersible is like 330 meters. That said, the spec to scale trade-off seems fair. Then on the consumer side, the elephant in the room is that a lot of customers simply like big watches. Like I mentioned at the top, Hublot, Panerai, and AP were the vanguard in these big, bold designs as watches transitioned from utilitarian objects to fashion pieces in the late 90s and early 2000s. Tudor was super transparent in their Watches and Wonders 2025 coverage, saying that the Black Bay 68 came directly as a response to their consumers wanting a larger Black Bay. This shows that even though the trend in the watch enthusiast space over the last few years has been to go smaller and smaller, outside of our little bubble, big watches are alive and well. Fortunately, it's not all bad for the small-wristed or small watch inclined among us. Rolex, for example, sized up their Explorer from 36 to 39 millimeters before shrinking it back down to 36 and then adding a 40 millimeter option in addition. Both the 36 and 40 millimeter versions are somewhat available today. Even Panerai, a chief offender in the watch size arms race, to their credit has made an enormous R&D investment in shrinking down their Luminor Marina by about 12.5%. And Lange, even though they're a little outside of the focus of this channel, shows a commitment to classically sized watches with their new 34 millimeter 1815. I think the name of the game for a lot of brands is variety. Having watches within the same family at different sizes allow consumers to buy into lines that were previously too big or too small for them before.